Dear friends, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for being here to take part in this planetary service at this time of the Pisces Solar Festival. It's a joy to work together to bring healing light, love, and the will to good into our planet. Pisces, as we know, is the 12th of the zodiacal signs. It's a culminating sign and the last one before we embark upon our work with the three major festivals of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Just as the 12 solar festivals form the high spiritual point for each month, so the three major festivals form the high spiritual point in the annual cycle. And we will say more about this next month. Here in the U.S. Eastern Time Zone, the exact time of this month's Pisces Festival occurs today at 1:05 p.m. And for those of you who can remain with us, we'll take the opportunity to together sound the great invocation. In preparation for the good work we hope to accomplish today, let's begin as usual by sounding the noontime recollection. As we do, let's recognize our sacred relationship to that blessed, lighted chain of hierarchy that is eternally pointing the way and radiating the loving energies of our second ray solar system. Let us then strive to be receptive to the energies emanating from all aspects of our glorious sun. The physical sun, the heart of the sun, and the central spiritual sun. This month aligning with the sign of Pisces and all its attendant energies. I know, O Lord of life and love, about the need. Touch my heart anew with love, that I too may love and give. Thank you, friends. I'd like to invite you to move forward on our journey into higher consciousness by reflecting on the keynote of this month's newsletter, which provides us with the theme of our work in Pisces. It's taken from the mysteries as presented within the second volume of Discipleship in the New Age. The word went forth to all the sons of men, the sons of God. Show forth the signature of God. Leave this high place and in the outer realm of darkness, toil and serve. Bring forth the real. Unveil the hidden depths of light. Reveal divinity. Thus, down the ages have the sons of men, who are the sons of God, embodied in themselves the light which shines, the strength which lifts and serves, the love that evermore endures. They walk the way of purity, the way into the innermost. We follow after. They serve their time. We seek to do the same. And so, dear friends, we take up our work in Pisces, encapsulated as it is in its esoteric keynote. I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. The ageless wisdom informs us of countless cycles, yet the outstanding one for every soul is that of its forthgoing into incarnation and its return or flowing back into the center from whence it came. As the ancient story about humanity's hidden jewel reminds us, the physical nature is both the hiding place of God, but for those who have eyes to see, It is also the revealing place of God. It is the path of return which Pisces inspires and governs. In Pisces, we have the fusion or blending of soul and form, as far as man is concerned, producing the manifestation of the incarnated Christ, the perfected individual soul, the completed manifestation of the microcosm. Thus, the greater and the lesser polar opposites, the human being and God, the microcosm and the macrocosm, are brought to their destined expression and manifestation. In the first cycle of experience upon the wheel, the soul itself is in captivity to substance. It has come down into the prison house of matter and linked itself to form. Hence the symbol of Pisces, of the two fishes linked together by a band. One fish stands for the soul, and the other for the personality or form nature, and between them is to be found the thread or sutratma, the silver cord which keeps them bound to each other throughout the cycle of manifested life. Later on, upon the reversed wheel, the personality is brought into captivity by the soul. But for long eons the situation is reversed, and the soul is the prisoner of the personality. This dual bondage is correlated by a dual renunciation. That is, the soul first of all renounces the life and light of the monad, its source, symbolized in the words, the Father's home, and it descends into the ocean of matter. Then, reversing itself, the soul renounces the life of form. First, it detaches itself in consciousness from the monad and functions from its own center, making its own new and material attachments. Then, upon the reversal of the wheel, it proceeds to detach itself from the personality and reattach itself in consciousness to the one who sent it forth. Thus, the keynote, I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. Such is the climaxing story of Pisces. The lords of will and sacrifice come down into manifestation, sacrificing their high position and opportunities upon the higher planes in order to redeem matter and raise the lives by which it is informed. This, we are told, is the subjective purpose underlying the sacrifice of these divine lives, who are ourselves essentially, who are qualified by knowledge, love, and will, and animated by ceaseless, persevering devotion. They seek the consequent release of the indwelling lives into a higher state of consciousness. Thus it is in the dual sign of Pisces that the imprisoned soul and the personality enter upon a relationship which will eventually transmute, for example, the lower nature into the higher manifestation, self-pity into compassion, sympathy, and divine understanding, and devotion to the needs of the self into a developed devotion and response to the needs of humanity. It is here significant to note that in tracing the unfolding of the human consciousness through the influence of the energies let loose through the various zodiacal signs, Pisces represents the divine consciousness, and its esoteric keynotes are those of identification, governing liberation. That great individuality, the Christ, through the process of the 5 great initiations, gave us a picture of the stages and method whereby identification with God can be brought about. He demonstrated the fact that I and my Father are one. Whereas the Buddha taught us the method of detachment, dispassion, and discrimination, the Christ exemplified the result: individualism, initiation, and identification. The final result of the work of the Christ is to be found in our identification with the whole. And to this potential and eventual achievement, we are all called. The Buddha and his 900 arhats struck the first blow at the world glamour when the Buddha promulgated his 4 noble truths. The Christ struck the second blow with his teaching of the nature of individual responsibility and brotherhood. The next blow will be struck by the new group of world servers acting under the direction of the Christ and his disciples, symbolically described as Christ and his 9,000 initiates. A word might here be in order about Pluto, that first-ray planet which is both the esoteric and hierarchical ruler of Pisces. Pluto drags to the surface and destroys all that hinders in the lower regions. Pluto becomes active in the life of both the individual and humanity when they are becoming alive in the higher sense. The lower nature then passes under the influence of Pluto, who we are told governs the lesser burning ground in order that we may live in truth in the higher land of light. Pluto governs the death or cessation of old ideas and emotions. Under its influence, crystallized old forms are dissolved and disappear, but in their place, the undying spirit, impressed by revelation and sensitive to the emerging new concepts of truth, will create the needed new forms of appropriate expression. In that Pluto stands for the region of death, and Earth stands for the sphere of experience, Pluto therefore comes into full force and expression in order to stage the testing of the world disciple, providing the opportunity wherein liberation can be achieved. The form is destroyed so that the consciousness may grow. Is this not what we are experiencing in our daily lives and on the global stage of world affairs? Here it might be helpful to remember that in the life of discipleship, crises produce 2 results, depending on the stage of discipleship. There is either an intensification of aspiration or an intensification of illumination. And additionally, there results a renunciation of the lesser, the personality, and emerging with the greater, the soul. If rightly handled, crises can produce an increasing power of control by the soul, who stands at one with all souls in all forms. In concluding these remarks, I'd like to leave you with a message given to Hercules when he successfully completed his 12th great labor in Pisces. Hercules, as we know, is that eternal prototype of all disciples of all times, past, present, and future. In this last labor, we are told that wherever wrong had triumphed, Hercules, dealt the powers of evil a deadly blow, and he righted the balance in favor of justice. At times he lost his way, but always Hercules turned back, retraced his steps, and journeyed on. Though wearied by this last and most exacting labor, Hercules at last returned. The teacher awaited his coming and greeted the returning warrior, saying, "Welcome, O Son of God, who art also a son of man. The jewel of immortality is yours. By these 12 labors have you overcome the human and put on the divine. Home have you come no more to leave. Upon the starry firmament your name shall be inscribed, a symbol to the struggling sons of men of their immortal destiny. The human labors have ended. Your cosmic tasks begin." From out the council chamber came a voice that said, "Well done, O Son of God." And so, dear friends, let us now take up our work of meditation in this 12th sign of Pisces.